You're listening to the Health and Happiness Podcast with Travis Kemper and
Lauren Maxwell. Each episode, we share easy to implement strategies to improve your health, happiness, and overall quality of life.
Smile, it's free therapy. Douglas Horton. How's it going, Travis?
It's going well. My voice just cracked. That was cool. Apparently, I'm going through puberty again.
Second puberty.
Second puberty, yes. I think that often happens around your 35th birthday. So, time is now. Yesterday, I cleaned up my car to sell it, and I also tried to get some scratches out of my truck.
Did it work?
Better than I expected. I still have to do some rubbing. It's like hard work, but like I bought an over-the-counter thing from Target. Over-the-counter, like it's a prescription medicine. I just bought a simple thing from Target, from Turtle Wax, and it worked substantially better than I thought it was going to.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I only had a couple really bad ones, but there were two that were really, really bad, like down to the metal. So I'm still working on those two. Today, I'm doing some more painting in my house. So, life's exciting.
Yeah,
I love painting.
Lots of jobs going on. I love painting.
If I have other things to report on, Lauren, I forgot them. So this is what I have for today. How's it going?
I feel like I have too much that I remember from this week. It's going good. I'm getting adjusted to being back to working in schools, which of course makes for some long days. But I've been working on creating a new morning routine lately, which seems to be helping for now. Hopefully it'll continue to be helpful. And that's been really exciting. Yesterday, I went to the flea market downtown with a friend and then to a music shop where Nolan got to help our friend pick out her first guitar, which is always we've gotten to do that with several friends, I think, go with them to buy their first guitar. So it's always been really exciting for me. And I went to the library and I got a library card finally, even though I moved here 8 years ago. I finally got a library card.
Nice job.
Yeah, because here's what convinced me to do it. Not because I want to go check out books from the library, but through the Libby app, you can rent Kindles and audiobooks for free if you have a library card. And I didn't know that. And so now
I'm very sorry for not telling you about that. I've been doing that for years.
Now I'm going to do it. I'm very excited. Yeah. So I've also been listening to a new podcast lately called Pod Meets World, which is a podcast with some of the cast members of Boy Meets World, and they rewatch the show together and talk about their experience on the show, which is really fun. I have been super enjoying it because Boy Meets World was a show I grew up on, and then getting to hear what the cast members actually experienced as children doing the show was just really funny. It's interesting.
Corey and Sean?
No, it's Sean and Eric. Sean and Eric and Topanga.
Sean, Eric, and Topanga. Okay, cool.
Corey said that podcasts were not his thing.
Got it.
So, but I heard that Mr. Feeney's going to be on it at some point too.
Feeney?
Feeney?
Lauren, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, so since I've been coming up and working on creating a new morning routine lately, I was randomly browsing on the App Store one day to find a habit tracker app that I might find helpful. And when I stumbled across one called Fabulous, but what got me is not the name. It was the cartoon drawings that were screenshots of this app. Anyway, so I figured, what the heck? Why not give it a try? And it was, like I said, super pretty looking, and it was definitely based in research and science of habit building, which is very much in line with our own episode on habit formation, which is basically the essence of it is start simple. And it gave me this goal. My first goal was waking up every morning and saying, I feel great today. And as I was reading information about positive affirmations to start the day, which we also have an episode on, by the way, I can't remember what episode it is, but we'll link it in the show notes. There was a section that said, okay, but what if I don't feel great today? What if I woke up feeling anxious or in a bad mood from something that happened the day before? Which I mean, I wake up feeling anxious quite often. So then it went into the research of how just faking a smile can actually trick our brains into feeling better. And I thought, ooh, what a great idea for an episode. So here we are. We're going to talk about smiling.
Great. So just grin and bear it. At some point, we have all probably heard or thought something like this when facing a tough situation. But is there any truth to this advice? Feeling good usually makes us smile, but does it work the other way around? Can smiling actually make us feel better? So there was a 2019 meta-analysis of 138 studies testing more than 11,000 patient participants. Gosh, I always say patients.
Because that's what you work with,
I
patience.
know.
You're used to it.
11,000 participants from all around the world. According to the results of this meta-analysis, facial expressions have a significant impact on our feelings. For example, smiling makes us feel happier, scowling makes us feel angrier, and frowning makes us feel sadder.
Yep. There's a lot of interesting studies on this, actually. So, one study at the University of Kansas found that the act of smiling has a positive effect on our happiness and our physical health, helping the heart recover more quickly after stressful events. This study recruited 169 participants and divided them into 3 groups. All of the students were asked to mimic a research assistant who was holding chopsticks between his or her teeth, as were the students. So, in one group, the research assistant had the students unwittingly activate the facial muscles for a genuine or a Duchenne smile, or Duchenne, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, which involves the muscles at the corners of the lips and also the muscles around the eyes, producing crow's feet to the sides of the eyes. So that's what like a real genuine smile is. And in the other groups, the students were made to imitate a standard smile or a non-genuine smile involving just the muscles around the lips, not the eyes, or have no expression at all. So that was the first 2, the Duchenne smile and the standard smile was imitated with chopsticks. So next, while their chopsticks and facial expressions were intact, the students completed stressful tasks, including one that required participants to trace a star with their non-dominant hand over and over and over without going outside the box. And when they drew outside the lines, they heard a loud buzzing sound. The researchers monitored the students' heart rates before, during, and after these tasks, and also asked the students how good they felt before and after performing the stressful tasks. After the students' heart rates spiked during the stressful tasks, the hearts of the smilers more quickly dropped down or back down to more relaxed states than those of the non-smilers. Additionally, genuine smilers showed the lowest heart rates of all. Similarly, all groups reported decreases in happiness following the stress, but those who smiled reported a smaller drop in happiness than those who kept a straight face. Smiling in this instance provided a protective effect for a stressful event, even if the smiles were fake. So, like produced by the chopsticks. Some of the students, I guess, in this study were explicitly told that the chopsticks were making them smile, and they reported lower happiness than students who were unaware that they were smiling, indicating, wait a minute, whoa, lower happiness?
Yeah, because
That's,
that it was fake.
oh, I almost concluded that wrong.
They were told that it was fake, so
then they didn't believe it was going to help them as much.
well, they knew it was happening, so they were
Yeah.
aware, and yeah, they were aware that they were fake smiling.
So even if you are fake smiling, apparently, well, if you don't know that you're fake smiling, you're more likely to
I guess
have a
if
more
you're
protective
unaware
effect.
that you were fake smiling, you have higher happiness in this study than if you are aware that you are fake smiling.
Yeah, but still, fake smiling apparently still can make you have a more protective effect. So
Yeah, they still
interesting.
found that a fake smile
Yeah,
helped people a lot, even if they knew, but it helped more if they didn't know that they were faking a smile.
yeah.
So, can smiling affect how I perceive others? I know we're going to get into this later, but certainly if you ever have like somebody walking towards you and they have a big smile on their face, you almost can't help but smile. You either have to smile or walk or look away. For people on the East Coast, what I feel happened more often if I was passing some random person on the sidewalk and I smiled, they looked down and away from me.
Really?
Yeah, that was a big eye opener when I moved out west. Out here, most people will smile. Yeah, they don't like eye contact back on the East Coast.
Oh,
So
that's so interesting.
Huh. That's no evidence for this other than my own personal experience.
How funny.
Anyway, so can smiling affect how I perceive others? So some research has shown that simply moving your facial muscles in a way that mimics a smile can trick your brain into a more positive state. The physical act of smiling not only created internal positive feelings, but also created participants to see the world around them in a more positive way. Researchers from the University of South Australia had participants replicate the facial smile movement by holding a pen between their teeth, similar to the chopsticks, causing the corners of their mouth to lift. Even though participants' smiles were faked, their brains didn't know the difference. In this study, it was found that when you forcefully practice smiling, it stimulates the amygdala, which releases neurotransmitters to encourage an emotionally positive state. The study highlights an interesting feedback loop between external appearance and internal feelings.
Yeah, so this was a lot similar to the chopstick study of how they held the pens. So one group held the pen between their teeth, which basically mimics that Duchenne smile or the genuine smile. Some of them held the pen between their lips, or which basically it's not even really a smile. It's basically like preventing you from smiling.
It's a shame.
Almost. Yeah. And then they just had some people who like didn't hold the pen at all, so like kept a neutral face. And then so with these three groups, what they did was they had them look at 11 pictures on like a scale of like a happy facial expression to like a sad facial expression. So all 11 were kind of on that scale. And then they also watched 11 videos of people walking with like, again, that same scale of like a happy walker all the way down to like a sad walker. And so each of these three groups interpreted like the facial expression and the bodily expressions of the people and the walkers. And the people who were holding the pen between their teeth, which mimics a Duchenne smile, were more likely to interpret all the facial or more of the facial expressions and more of the walkers as happy. So they were more likely to see others as being happy if they were smiling compared to the other two groups.
Positively affected their outlook on other people.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Which was interesting because like, so when I first started reading this study, sorry, segui, I thought they were going to like have people like do that in front of other people and then see like how they interpreted like real people in front of them. And I was like, well, if you're doing this and putting a pen between your teeth, like other people are going to smile at you because it looks funny. Or like also like if you're smiling, people smile back at you, at least on the West Coast, I guess. So I thought like, okay, well that's gonna skew the result, but it wasn't real people. It was literally just like pictures and videos, and they interpreted the same exact people differently.
I think it might be the West Coast, East Coast. I think it might be a big city.
Oh,
like,
that may be true.
a lot of population. Yeah, because people in Phoenix don't smile back either.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's
right.
very true.
Lauren, next time you're in Phoenix, which will probably be in a couple of weeks, you're gonna notice this.
Oh, I've noticed it already. I noticed it when I moved to Flagstaff because I used to like walk around when I was young and like in middle school. I used to like walk around the mall and like smile and wave at people. And they would always just like scowl at me and look at me like I was nuts. And then I did the same thing when I moved to Flagstaff and everybody's like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And I'm like, whoa, people acknowledge me.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, I think it's more of a big city thing.
That makes more sense.
Anyway, so smiling at how others perceive me, specifically in business. An experimental study with 259 ethnic Chinese millennials showed that frontline service employees smile nod coupling drives both nonverbal immediacy and authenticity of the service encounter behavior, which in turn promote employee customer rapport. My gosh, that was hard for me to say. Another research study investigated language spoken, ethnic appearance, and smile on customer perceptions of authenticity and rapport. The results from this is actually two different studies. The results from these two studies found that ethnic appearance and smile significantly affect customer perceptions of authenticity and customer satisfaction. Employees speaking to the customers also significantly affected customers' authenticity perceptions. They found that even customers spoken to in a language different than their own still had increased perceptions of authenticity when employees spoke to them versus when they did not. That's interesting.
That's really interesting.
So even if I say hi to somebody that walks into my store and they don't speak a lick of English, but if I say hi and smile, they will perceive the business as more authentic and think it's better customer satisfaction or report better customer satisfaction. That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know that I would have guessed that, but that's cool. It's cool to know that like language barrier doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be worse for business. You know what I mean?
Right. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like people. I like people acknowledging me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, in Phoenix, when people don't acknowledge you, it makes you feel bad.
When I was shopping for a car, I remember I used to sell cars, so I had some experience with this, and this would never have happened at my dealerships. People wouldn't even come out and say hi to me, and I don't know why.
Huh.
I mean, I wear shorts and a t-shirt everywhere I go, pretty much. I wear athletic clothes. I'm always ready to work out.
Yeah.
That's what I look like. So I don't know if that was it, but it's like I'm not driving like a 40-year-old car. I'm driving a 2016 into their lot, and they're just ignoring me.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and this was like every dealership in this area that I went
Really?
to. Nobody would come out and talk to me. I had to go into the store to get them to come out and talk to me. And I can tell you, from a customer perspective, it's very freaking annoying to be ignored when all you want is like to test drive this truck. That's all I wanted to do. So anyway.
And then you have to do the work of like flagging down the people.
Right. So if you're in any sort of customer service, you should probably just, say hi and smile whenever a customer comes in, even if you think that they can't buy anything for whatever reason you're judging them.
Yeah. Or just be like, hey, can I help you with anything?
Yeah, something.
Simple question. I am like 10 times more likely to ask for help when somebody comes up and offers their help first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, happiness on creativity. Research suggests that when you're happy, you release more dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter linked with motivation, which increases your control over your mind. Happiness also boosts activity in areas of the brain that handle decision making, learning, and processing. A collection of studies all point to the pros of a positive mood. So one study particularly was looking at happy men, and it said that happy men had a more holistic approach to problems than negative men, meaning they were able to recognize innovative solutions that others may have missed. So potentially makes you at least more open to creative solutions.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happiness and longevity. Happy people do live longer.
Travis's favorite topic.
Yes. Compared to very happy people, the risk of death over the follow-up period is 6% higher among those who are pretty happy and 14% higher among those who are not happy, even after controlling for an array of demographic, socioeconomic, and lifestyle-related factors. This research has been reproduced over and over and over again. happiness increases your lifespan.
And that is why it's been one of our goals of this podcast, to find ways to make yourself happier.
Yep. Even if you have to fake it.
Even
like
if you have to
putting
fake
a pen
it.
in your mouth, which will probably just make you do laughter therapy too. See, Lauren? Happiness and productivity. Economists have established a link between workers' happiness and their performance. Research suggests that happier workers are about 12% more productive. So, yeah, if you want more income, whatever you want, being happy is going to help you.
Just put a smile on.
Lauren, do you have a challenge this week?
I sure do. We'll bring it back full circle for the challenge. Since my personal challenge this week has been to wake up and smile and say, I feel great today, and that's the idea that inspired this episode, I'm going to challenge you guys to do the exact same thing. So first thing when you wake up in the morning, proclaim to yourself, I feel great today, and smile and take notice of how it makes you feel for the rest of the day.
I love it. Lauren, great job today.
Thanks, Travis. You too. This was fun.
This was fun. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time. Bye.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode and are getting benefits from our content.
If your life is improving in part due to the information in this podcast, we would greatly appreciate you sharing the episode with your family and friends on social media and leaving us a review so we can continue to reach more people and improve the health and happiness of the community at large.
Thanks again, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast.